Hello students, the current topic of discussion is myopathies. Now if you look at the term myopathy and if you split the term into two, that is myo and pathies. Okay? So myo means muscle, as you know, myoglobin. Okay, so myo means muscles, myopathies. Pathies means suffering or suffering of the muscle. So in other words, myopathy is a disease of muscle disease. Okay. Now, if you know, muscle can be involved in many other conditions that affects central nervous system and peripheral nervous system. So in all the disease of CNS and PNS, the muscle will become either weak or may become spastic, and there are certain changes inside the muscle, but these changes are secondary to a disease which is primarily affecting CNS and PNS. Okay. So in this, when we call myopathy, the primary affection is inside the muscle cell, and CNS and PNS may be unaffected. They may be functioning normally, okay, but the primary problem or the primary pathology is inside the muscle cell, and so we call it as myopathies. In this presentation, we will be discussing about the classification of myopathies, okay, the common clinical features of the clinical features that are common to all types of myopathies, various diagnostic tests that are used for the diagnosis of myopathies, and the various possible complications. Classification of myopathies. Now, as you can see, myopathy is classified with broadly into two forms or two types. One is hereditary and second is acquired. Okay, so first is hereditary, which is inherited by one of the parents and it is passed on to the child, and the second is acquired. So acquired myopathy is acquired during the course of disease. Okay, so first let us look at the hereditary myopathy. Now hereditary myopathy is further classified into five more types. So first one is muscular dystrophy. Muscular dystrophy also contains certain type of common myopathies, that is DMD, Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, or BMD, that is Baker's muscular dystrophy, then facioscapulohumeral myopathy or dystrophy, limb girdle muscular dystrophy. So these are various types of muscular dystrophies, and in this case, in muscular dystrophy, there is abnormality in a gene that is responsible for the production of a protein called dystrophin. So whenever there is abnormality in the dystrophin, that is called, the myopathy is called muscular dystrophy. Congenital myopathy is present since birth, and the various types of congenital myopathy are central core myopathy, central nuclear myopathy, or distal myopathy. Metabolic myopathy consists of lipid storage myopathy or disorders of carbohydrate metabolism. Then mitochondrial myopathy consists of Merck syndrome, Melas syndrome, and etc. And myotonias and periodic paralysis, they consist of myotonia congenita, dystrophia, and other myotonic myopathies. Okay. Coming to the acquired myopathy, it is further classified into four other types. Inflammatory, that consists of polymyositis and dermatomyositis. Infectious myopathy, that which results from viral infections like HIV or flu, or bacterial infection in case of Staphylococcus aureus or streptococcal infections. Toxic myopathy consists of myopathy due to some drug toxicity, that is medication causing myopathy. Then certain steroids can also cause myopathy. So that includes toxic myopathy. And myopathies in endocrine disease. So endocrine diseases like hypothyroidism or hyperthyroidism or hyperparathyroidism or Cushing syndrome or acromegaly, they can lead to muscle weakness, and that is called as myopathies in endocrine diseases. Coming to the clinical features, now since this is a disease of muscle, all the clinical features or signs and symptoms will be related to the muscle. Okay, so the first clinical feature is muscle weakness. Now, in myopathy, the muscle cell is destructed. Okay, so obviously it will cause muscle weakness. But what is the distribution of muscle weakness? So, muscle weakness is symmetrical. That is, both the sides of the muscles are affected equally. Both the sides of the body are affected equally. So, muscle weakness is symmetrical in most of the myopathies. However, there are certain types of myopathies where muscle weakness can be asymmetrical. For example, dermatomyositis or polymyositis. Okay, where you can find that there is asymmetrical muscle weakness. But in most of the myopathies, the muscle weakness will be symmetrical. The muscle weakness is more often proximal. So the proximal girdle muscles, pelvic girdle muscles or shoulder muscles or scapular girdle muscles, these are more often affected. But it is not the rule. There are certain types of myopathies like distal myopathy where there is more involvement of distal muscles. Okay, but most commonly it is proximal involvement. The muscle weakness may be permanent, that is, once there is a muscle weakness, it remains and it continues to progress. But it could also be sporadic. Sporadic means muscle weakness comes suddenly and goes. So sporadic muscle weakness is again seen in certain type of metabolic myopathies and a periodic paralysis. Okay, so where the muscle weakness will be sporadic. But in other cases and in most of the myopathy, the muscle weakness once it comes, it remains and it progresses gradually. Okay, so it is permanent. The second common clinical feature is muscle atrophy. So, like I told you, the muscle cell is destructed, so which will lead to atrophy and weakness. Now, because of the weakness, the person may not be able to carry out his aerial activities. So, because of the weakness and inactivity, there is true muscular atrophy. Okay, but in certain types of dystrophy, for example, DMD and DMD, you will see a phenomena called pseudo hypertrophy. Okay, so you will see that the muscle is very weak, but instead of atrophy, you will see that the bulk of the muscle is increased. So that is called pseudo hypertrophy. Okay, so you will see the hypertrophy, but the muscle is weak. So why there is a pseudo hypertrophy? Because the destructed muscle tissue are replaced not by muscle tissue, but they are replaced by fat and other connective tissue. Okay, so in that bulky muscle there are very less muscle tissue, but there is more fat and connective tissue which are non-contractile tissue. They cannot add to the strength of the muscle. So the muscle is weak and there is pseudo hypertrophy. Okay, muscle tone. Now the muscle tone may be normal in early stages or it may be diminished in later stages when a significant amount of muscle tissue has been destructed, so the muscle tone will be diminished. Deep tendon reflex, again like muscle tone, a deep tendon reflex may be diminished in early stages of myopathy because still there is significant amount of muscle cells preserved, so the DTR will be diminished. But in later stage when the amount of muscle cell is destructed and atrophied, the deep tendon reflexes will be absent. Okay, so diminished in early stage, absent in chronic stage. Pain. Now, myopathy do not affect the sensory nerves. Okay, so there will be no other sensory symptoms. However, muscle pain may be present in certain case of inflammatory myopathies. So, inflammatory myopathies again, if you remember, polymyositis and dermatomyositis, and certain infectious myopathy which leads to inflammation in the muscle, and they stimulate the free nerve endings or the nociceptors inside the muscle and cause muscle pain. Okay, otherwise there is no affection of sensory nerves, but pain is present in inflammatory myopathies and infectious myopathies. And there is exercise induced myalgia. So myalgia means muscle pain how when after the exercise is done. So exercise induced myalgia is present in certain metabolic myopathies. Okay, myotonic reactions. Now, what are myotonic reactions? Myotonic reactions are failure or inability of a muscle to relax after contraction or after activity. Okay, so that is called myotonic reaction, and these myotonic reactions are characteristic of myotonic myopathies. So myotonic myopathies, there will be myotonic reactions. For example, if you shake hands with a patient of myotonic myopathies, the patient will not be able to release your hand after shaking. Okay, he will need some time before his muscles are able to relax. So that is delayed relaxation or inability of relaxation of the muscle after contraction. Contracture. Contracture is seen in chronic myopathies. The contracture can be due to continuous abnormal posturing, or it could be due to the pull of gravity on the weak joints or weak muscles. Okay, so that may lead to contracture. Let us now look at the various diagnostic testing that is done in case of suspected case of myopathy. So first is laboratory evaluation. Now the most common blood test that is used in case of suspected myopathy is serum CPK levels. So serum CPK levels, they are raised in case of acute inflammatory myopathies and early stages of DMD and BMD. So when there is active muscle cell destruction, muscle tissue destruction, at that time the serum CPK level are found to be raised, and that raised is approximately 50 to 100 times raised in serum CPK levels. Okay. Now keep in mind that serum CPK levels are not diagnostic, but they are confirmatory of when there is a suspected case of myopathy. Okay, because serum CPK levels are also found to be raised for several days after vigorous exercise in a normal person. So it is not a diagnostic test for myopathy, but it is a confirmatory test, and the levels are found to be raised in case acute inflammatory myopathies, early stages of BMD and DMD. Now, serum CPK levels are within normal limits in chronic inflammatory muscle disease, slow progressive dystrophies, and congenital myopathy. So, in cases of chronic myopathies, even though there is significant amount of muscle atrophy, muscle weakness, even though the serum CPK levels will be in normal limits. Okay, so they are, again I like to remind you that it is not diagnostic; it is just confirmatory test, blood test. The second diagnostic test is electrodiagnosis, where we do NCV and EMG of the muscle and nerve concern. Okay, so when NCV is performed, both motor and sensory NCV, you may find that the distal sensory latency and the distal motor latencies are within normal limits. Motor nerve conduction velocity and sensory nerve conduction velocity are also normal, but in case where there is significant amount of muscle tissue destruction, the CMAP, that is compound motor action potential, compound muscle action potential, the amplitude may be reduced. Okay, and that indicates the reduction in number of total muscle fibers. So only findings in NCV may be that the CMAP amplitude is reduced. Rest all NCV findings may be normal. So because there is no pathology inside the nerve. EMG study will show low amplitude, short duration, polyphasic potential. This low amplitude, short duration, polyphasic potentials are also called as myopathic potentials. Okay, so EMG on voluntary muscle contraction, it will show typical myopathic potentials. Muscle biopsy. So under anesthesia, a small amount of muscle tissue is extracted and it is examined under a microscope. And this histopathological examination helps to determine the type and extent of muscle disease. So what is the type of myopathy, whether it is inflammation or whether it is dystrophy. Okay, so type of myopathy and the extent, to what extent the muscle has been affected. So to determine that, it is useful. And common biopsy site includes bulky muscles. So they are bicep, deltoid, quadricep, and gastrocnemius. Now, genetic study. Genetic study is very helpful in case of hereditary myopathies, and it helps the family to make decisions regarding prenatal diagnosis and future planning of the pregnancy. So it helps to know who is the carrier, whether the disease has been transmitted from mother to the child or from father. Okay, so it is helpful in making decision regarding prenatal diagnosis and future planning of pregnancies. coming to the various complications that are common in case of myopathies. So first one is respiratory complication. The causes of respiratory complications are due to direct involvement of respiratory muscles. So respiratory muscles may be weak due to myopathy. There can be spinal muscular weakness. So the postural muscles of the spine may be weak and that can lead to postural abnormal posture. Okay. And there is restricted thoracic mobility due to spinal deformity. So, in case there is spinal muscular weakness and abnormal posturing, that may lead to development of scoliosis and kyphosis, and that restricts the thoracic cage mobility due to spinal deformity. So, what is the result? Impairment. There is reduced lung expansion, and because of reduced lung expansion, the lung tissue collapse. The lung tissue which do not expand, they collapse, and that leads to collection of fluid and more chances of chest infection. On addition, there is weak cough because the abdominals or expiratory muscles might be weak. So there is weak cough, and that there are also chances of respiration pneumonia. So all this together, they lead to respiratory complications. Cardiac complication. Now, cardiomyopathy and heart failure are common in muscular dystrophy as well as myotonic dystrophy, and due to the direct involvement of cardiac muscles. Okay, so heart problems are greater in BMD, that is Baker's muscular dystrophy, than in DMD. Approximately 70% boys with BMD have cardiac enlargement by the age of 20. So 70% of the boys will have cardiomyopathy in case of BMD. And there is increased incidence of sudden death in patients with myotonic dystrophy type 1. So in case of myotonic dystrophy also there is cardiomyopathy, and there are increased incidence of sudden heart failure and death due to cardiomyopathy. Obesity. Obesity is due to the lack of physical activity. The patient may become obese, and sleep disturbance is due to lack of bed mobility and inability to turn in bed. So patient is not able to turn in bed, and that can cause discomfort, and that wakes up the patient in the mid of the night. And also patient has breathing difficulties because of weak inspiratory or expiratory muscles, and that also causes sleep disturbances. Osteoporosis, again due to lack of physical activity, there is risk of osteoporosis, and this risk increases with age and as the disease progresses. So there is lack of physical activity, which means there is no weight bearing stress on the joints and on the bones. Again, muscles are weak, so there is no stress of contraction, of muscle contraction on the bones, and in absence of this stresses, the bone starts losing its calcium, and so the osteoporosis develops. Spinal deformity, like I told you, when the spinal muscles are affected and there is imbalance in the spinal muscles, so that leads to spinal deformity. And S-shaped scoliosis due to trunk muscle weakness. Weakness in pelvic girdle and hip musculature results in increased lordosis in standing position. Okay, so you may see that there is increased anterior pelvic tilt, protruding abdomen in the anterior aspect, and increased lordosis. So there will be a hollow on the back side. Okay, that is due to the weakness of pelvic girdle and hip musculature. Then prolonged muscular imbalance leads to contracture and deformity. So initially this deformity, this scoliosis and lordosis may just be functional because of the muscle weakness. But if they continue, if they persist, and for if they persist for a long time, then it happens that the muscles they become contracted and the deformity becomes permanent and structural. Pressure source, inability to change position. So if a patient is wheelchair bound, okay, and if he is sitting in wheelchair for a prolonged period of time, he is not able to change his position. If he is bedridden, he may not be able to change his position in the bed, and that leads to the increased risk of pressure source. On that, there is the problem of obesity or overweight, which increases the pressure on bony prominences. So that all leads to increased risk of pressure sores. Swallowing difficulty, poor sucking, and difficulty in making bolus and swallowing due to pseudohypertrophy of tongue. Now, pseudohypertrophy of tongue is a clinical feature of muscular dystrophies like BMD and DMD, more often in DMD. So, there is hypertrophy of tongue and the tongue muscles are weak, which leads to poor sucking and difficulty in making bolus and swallowing. Psychosocial complications. Now, the causes are that these patients with muscular dystrophy, they are unable to participate in social gatherings. Okay, most of the patient of myopathy, especially muscular dystrophy, are small kids aged 3 to 5, or maybe if they have BMD, then 10 years and above. And these kids, due because of their weakness, they have to drop out of the school. These kids, they cannot climb stairs, they cannot play in the ground, and they have respiratory difficulties, they have cardiomyopathy, and so they have to drop out from the school. And because of that, they lack peer group interaction. So peer group interaction means they cannot play with the child of similar age, they cannot play with friends, they cannot participate in the games that the siblings are playing. Okay, so that causes the aloofness, anxiety, depression, reduced self-esteem, and non-cooperativeness in on part of the patient. So these are all psychosocial complications. Thank you for now. We will continue the discussion on muscular dystrophy in the next presentation.